Hey my friends, it's Bill McDonald, the writing doctor, and today I wanted to help the third grade reading teachers practice a little bit of revising and some editing. We're going to do 2 revising questions today and 1 editing question. Just want to remind you that when you're doing revising, one important thing to do is what I call a pre-read. Let me kind of come over here to the title. Think of the acronym PRE. The word pre means something you do before, and so the P can stand for what is the purpose? What is the point of view? Is it written in present or past tense? Is it R revising or is it E editing? So think of pre like that. So the title says always ready to help. So Kat wrote the following paper about an interesting woman. So read Kat's paper and look for any revisions. So we know that it's revision, and apparently this interesting woman is the person who's already always ready to help. And so we find out a little bit about that. So then we'll go look at the question. The question I'm going to look at today is going to be question number 11. We're going to read it, underline and label, eliminate and explain the wrong answers, and we'll select the correct one. So remember that I shared with you last time that whenever you see the word revise, all you're going to be doing is changing the order, the organization of the words. You don't want to change the meaning. You don't want to change the content. So when we read it, it says most effective. So that means that there could be more than one way that it could sound good. We want the best way. So we underline effective and revise in right order. We'll label that. And then we highlight sentence 29 in the question and label it question 11. So then we go look at sentence 29. There it is right there. It says, the American Red Cross continues the important work today that Clara Burton started. Okay? So since the American Red Cross is doing something in present tense, and Clara Barton started something in past tense, then what you would want your students to notice is, well, the present tense today needs to be with who's doing something today, and that would be the Red Cross. So it'd be like saying, here's the puzzle pieces. We're going to move this puzzle piece today somewhere over here with the American Red Cross. Let's take a look at the answer choices. It says on A, starting the important work today. No, we learned from the sentence that, as you can see in the correct answer, Clara Barton started it past tense, and the Red Cross who continues it present tense. So we can eliminate letter A because they're not starting it. It was already started by Clara Barton. The correct answer, today, when, present tense, the American Red Cross who continues present tense, the important work that Clara Barton started. The content is still there, it just moved the present tense word today with who is still doing the work that she started. Let's find out what's wrong with C and D. The American Red Cross started, nope. We know that Clara Barton started it, so we can automatically eliminate that. Today, the important work started the American Cross. So now the work started the American Red Cross. No, the American Red Cross continues something that Clara Barton started. So the only one that works is the one that moves the present tense together. Let's take a look at number 12 right next to it. Now I want you to notice that in the answer choices, for some reason the state only marked A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, so be careful. The answer choices are going to say A, B, C, and D for number 12, but just know that it's the first answer. So it says that Kat wants to improve the conclusion of her paper. So you only want to improve the last paragraph. It doesn't say wants to close the paper. She just wants to improve the conclusion. That means the last paragraph. So which sentence should replace sentence 31? So revising is ARM. So I want you to notice my graphic organizer for ARM. ARM stands for A, add. See the green bracelet there. R, remove something, red, and possibly replace it green, so you can see the red and green bracelet, or move it. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be removing sentence 31. And so think of a shoe, and I have the brand of shoe called Conclusion, because a conclusion is supposed to tie everything in the whole passage together, or at least tie the paragraph together. So what we want to see is, well, what could take something that's possibly vague and more specific. So sentence 29 said that the Red Cross continues what Clara Barton started. That's the one that we were fixing just a moment ago. Sentence 30, many people rely, present tense, on the Red Cross because of her. So lots of great things are being done still by the Red Cross because of what this young lady did. She would be proud. Well, what we want is something that goes from vague, being proud, to what she's proud of. So let's take a look at the four answers so we can kind of see. Clara Barton would be proud of the organization's many important acts. Well, the organization is the Red Cross, and they are important acts, the things that they've done in people's lives. That goes from vague to specific. Clara Barton was glad, would be, was glad, future tense to past tense. She got to serve as the president. Doesn't say anything about being president in that paragraph. That was in the previous paragraph, if you look at it carefully. Clara Barton would have liked to have helped more people. No, because we just read in sentence 30 that she helped, that a lot of people got helped. So we know that it wouldn't make sense to say that in one sentence that the organization is helping people, and then have that as a way to close. She would have liked to have helped more. Nothing was mentioned about that. Clara Barton was pleased the government listened to her idea. Well, since the government listened to her idea, well, when you compare the two answers, the organization is more specific than the government. The organization called the Red Cross, they did some important acts. Well, they listened to her idea. Well, the idea was to help change people's lives, and so that one was a little bit better answer, letter F, or in the answer choices it does say A. So have your kids draw a little shoe, and then for each sentence that's in the conclusion, have them draw one little lace. We'll do one more question. One is editing. What change, if any, should be made in sentence 8? And you notice here that this time there's no change needed, but you have to check all four answers and find out. Letter A says change his to their. So your kids can mark change singular, his, to their, plural. Neighbors, not family. We're going to find out in usage that the people that are being talked about are the kid's neighbors, not his family. Letter B says change spent, past tense, arrow backwards, to spends, arrow down. Change afternoon spelling to afternoon. And so whenever we have a question about spelling, sometimes it's good to, instead of just eliminating it, let's do some extensions, some examples. So we have a couple of OON endings: moon, soon, coon as in raccoon, and I also have one as dune, using the UNE ending. And so if they were to look up, remember that if you're going to change the one on the left to the one on the right, the answer, it has to be the right spelling. And since the one on the right is the wrong spelling, then you eliminate it. So let's take a look at it, that we can see how it looks like. We've labeled question number 3 above the word. It says change his to their, Sam and their father. Well, up here we find out that they're their neighbors, so they're not their relatives. Sam and his father, so that wouldn't work. Then we have, let's find out what's wrong with B, C, and D. Like I said, B says change spent to spends. Well, this story was in past tense, so it wouldn't make sense. They spent the entire afternoon. We gotta keep it in past tense because the whole passage is in past tense, and that's one of the pre-reads that I talked about with you. And letter C, we already told you, there's no spelling that you're going to find like that, so either in your brain you have to memorize that, or your book, that's a compound word. You're going to put two words together to form one word. And you can give another example of a compound, good afternoon, and you could also say good night, and that would also be one word joined with two together. So the answer is D, no mistake. God bless you guys, and please share this with some of your writing teacher friends.